March 18th, 2024. Call the meeting to order. The first order of business is to conduct a public hearing to consider a request for a conditional use permit CUP to allow for the development of 15 short-term rental cottages and 1 residential homestead for the manager's quarters on property located at 2802 Loop 1781, also known as Spanish Woods No. 5, Rockport, Aransas County, Texas.
The owner applicant does not seem to be here this evening. Just what you read is what he's requesting, and I can't speak on his behalf of what his plans are or anything, so we will open up the public hearing to anybody that wishes to speak on this topic.
If you could state your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Shelley Steckler. I reside at 3352 Loop 1781, Rockport, Texas. I am in Section 5 of Spanish Woods Estates. As a property owner in Section 5 of Spanish Woods Estates, I would like to oppose the CUP for the 15 cottages and single-family residence due to the following. Spanish Woods Estates is zoned R1, single-family residence. As a resident of Spanish Woods, I am proud to live in Spanish Woods Estates, which is known for its large acre tracts of land with open space in between the neighbors and a single-family residence. Spanish Woods Section 5 is also deed restricted. These deed restrictions are in place to carry out uniform building guidelines to ensure our property values and quality of life. There are street guidelines, utility easement guidelines, square footage guidelines, architectural guidelines, and waterway guidelines, which none of these the CUP seems to be meeting. On the site plans for the proposed CUP, the developer states that there is 3.5 acres of developable land. According to the Aransas County Appraisal District Site 2022, there is 1.5 acres of barren wetlands and 3.78 acres of land in the middle of the horseshoe pond that would only be accessible by a bridge. So I brought an image of the pond for those of you who have not driven by the property. So the horseshoe is right here. This section right here is 3.7 acres, and it's not accessible unless you put in some sort of a bridge to get to it. This right here is only 1.5 acres. I would like to see, so that leaves only 1.62 acres to be developed with 15 cottages and a single-family residence. I would like to see this CUP be denied or postponed until the developer comes up with engineered drainage plans, utility structural plans, and proof of financing to develop out the subdivision according to the engineered guidelines and deed restrictions of Spanish Woods. Spanish Woods deed restrictions require house size minimum of 1,400 square feet. They have certain structural guidelines, what kind of siding you can put on your house. They do not want elevated homes. Is this going to be, what kind of structures are these cottages? What sort of road improvements are going to be put in? And does the gentleman actually have the funding to follow through with this? According to Spanish Woods deed restrictions, the development should be finished within 3 months. My concern as Spanish Wood property owner is that if this CUP is permitted, then it will just open up the possibility for many other CUPs coming into our subdivision and devaluing our property values and characteristics of the Spanish Woods subdivision. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Nancy Bolting. I live on Spanish Woods Drive in Spanish Woods subdivision, and pretty much ditto when it comes to the covenant and the deed restrictions that we have for Spanish Woods. One of the reasons we purchased out there was because it is a residential area. Nice lots, nice area to be in. At one point I had come up here also for another piece of property that at that time they were wanting a rezoning. Wouldn't have been such an issue there had we rezoned, but it was going to be commercial. My concern with this one is the CUP, and it's going to be short-term rentals, which means now you have non-permanent structures, most likely, you have utilities that you have to provide. So at some point, this is no longer a residential piece of property, but it is a commercial piece of property that's been conditionally used as commercial. So at what point do we reverse back, and what happens to that property after he has gotten done with it, or the short-term rentals are no longer valuable, and what type of structures are they putting on here? He's stating that he wants at least 15 structures on this piece of property, and probably half of that property is water. So now you're looking at very small structures being installed on that piece of property, which could be a detriment to what our deed restrictions are and the fact that it is residential. So I'm just asking that y'all reconsider this, maybe possibly look through our deed restrictions. I did find some that were updated, but they still have very strict guidelines as to what we would like to see in Spanish Woods subdivision and in that area. So I would appreciate y'all going back and looking through that and taking a drive-by, because as Shelley pointed out, there's a lot of water here. We already have one subdivision that took and straightened out one of our natural water flows. This is probably going to cause some more issues with that as well. So, thank you very much.
I don't normally come up here, but I am also a resident of Spanish Woods. So Danielle Hale, 110 North Sierra Woods. I had been reached out to by a couple of the constituents in the neighborhood, both as council person as well as my affiliation with the Homeowners Association. I happen to live with one of the board members. We did do some quick research. It's not super clear if the first lot on that is 100% included within the current covenants, but this isn't the first time we've had development come into our subdivision that did not go through the HOA. So they were not informed of the CUP, they weren't informed of the possible development. There's been no communication whatsoever with the developer, which in my opinion is wrong and right from the beginning. I agree with Ms. Steckler and Ms. Bolting on pretty much, well, probably everything that they said actually. This is not, in my opinion, a good use of the conditional use permit process. In the past, we have considered CUPs, both Spanish Woods and for surrounding areas, but there were other issues involved, such as structure that already existed. One of the churches that is out there was moved and sold as a commercial property. Eventually, we accepted the CUP, given that you're not ever going to take that structure off the footprint. Although they're saying that these are temporary structures, they're not, because the utilities, the roadways, all the infrastructure that goes in has to be developed, and those are permanent to the lot there. So I don't think this is a good use of the CUP. There's no legal non-conforming that is already existing. There's no existing commercial in that area or for that property. A rezoning process makes the most amount of sense. Now, whether that would be approved or not is a different story, but I just don't think the CUP process makes sense for this at all. There are definitely things that need to be addressed with the HOA that are appropriate. So just want to thank Ms. Steckler and Ms. Bolting for coming forward, and I assure you there's others in the neighborhoods that share their concerns as well. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to guess there's no one else that's going to speak, so I'm going to close the public hearing at this time and move along on the regular agenda. The next item is to deliberate and act on approval of the regular meeting minutes of February 19th, 2024. Anybody see any hitches or glitches? Pam?
Nope.
I'll take a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion, second.
Second, sorry.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Number 4, deliberate and act on a request for a conditional use permit CUP to allow for the development of 15 short-term rental cottages and 1 homestead for the manager's quarters on property located at 2802 Loop 1781, also known as Spanish Woods Number 5, Rockport, Aransas County, Texas. I know Carrie's not here. Oh, goodness.
Ms. Dietrich has the family emergency this evening that she's taking care of. I'm looking at the, yes,
Speak up a little bit, please.
yes, sir. I'm sorry, Ms. Dietrich is out. She had a family emergency, and so she's not here this evening. I'm looking through the packet. Some of the things included in the packet show that the future land use map does show that as commercial, and the zoning map shows it as commercial. So with the information brought forward by the folks that spoke in the public hearing, I would make a recommendation to postpone action on this item until we can get the owner to come in and tell us exactly what he's going to do to make sure that he's met all the requirements, not only for the city, but if there are deed restrictions on that property through Spanish Woods, we need to be made aware of them, take a look at them, and then make a decision before we ask you to either approve or disapprove the CUP application. And then if we do that and you do approve the CUP application or disapprove the CUP application, making a recommendation to council, there will be a second public hearing before the city council for this item also.
I have a question, Mike, 'cause I printed it at home, so mine are in black and white. Can we pull up the future land use map? Because it looks like on my black and white that the lot in question is residential, it's in yellow.
I've got it listed as commercial on there. This is just partial snippets of the zoning map and the future land use map that Ms. Dietrich put into the packet, but it does show red, which is commercial.
I'm gonna disagree, and it
No.
also looks like the lot that's highlighted is not the correct lot. I didn't catch that till late this afternoon.
Okay.
Go,
And that, it may be that you are
okay, right
correct.
there.
This is the lot.
So
we're
this
talking
lot
about.
is gonna be down here.
Yeah,
You
It's
wanna,
not,
it's not,
wait, 3036.
you wanna,
Yeah, 1A that's highlighted there is yellow.
right.
This is the one
Right,
she
that's one.
highlighted, but I think it's further down.
yeah, I see some discrepancies here, which would cause me to ask you to postpone action on this item until we get more definitive information.
Works for me. I mean, especially without the owner to be here to say, you know,
Yeah,
what
I
he's
wish
planning to
Mr.
do.
Johnson was here to explain exactly what it is.
Do we know why he's not
Did the
here?
owner contact you and said he'd be here, not be here?
No, I don't know that, sir. He would have contacted Ms. Dietrich. And I would think that as important as this is, that he would have been here.
I think I would echo Danielle's point that the HOA wasn't informed of this, and looking through the zoning for it, the appraisal district it is residential, and our covenants that were amended, and I'm also a Spanish Woods resident. In 1999, the amendment for Unit 5 was put into place. It states no temporary buildings, no permanent structures. They do have square foot requirements. They cannot be used for commercial purposes, which an STR would, in essence, be a commercial use of sort, and then that it is single dwelling as well. And that was not removed as a restriction for Unit 1 because the amendment was kind of messy because there were multiple owners that were given access to the amendment, but it was held off as restricted housing with owning it, and it was still single dwelling. So I don't see how they're meeting any of the requirements for this currently.
I had a question, just so I can understand the process. So this would have been, I mean, right now, I'm assuming we're gonna put in a motion to postpone, but this was just a request to be able to request it. At what point does it come in where you would need to see engineered plans, drainage plans, those type of things? Because I would assume you would need that before you could
Right,
approve.
when and if the CUP is approved, then he has to come in with engineered stamp plans for the entire project. You know,
Okay.
the layout, the tree survey, everything else necessary. My recommendation to the chairperson would be to take no action on this item, as the owner was not here to provide sufficient information for you to consider his request. You can take that in the form of a motion from one of your members.
Someone like to put that in a motion?
I'll put it in there.
Okay. So we have a motion to postpone, until such time as, hopefully the owner or a representative of the owner could come and answer questions, as well as the city looking at deed restrictions and so forth. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. We have any further discussion on this? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Nay? So moved to table for the moment. The last item, or the next to the last item, is discussion regarding training scheduled on 3/27/24, provided by Health Consulting.
Mr. Chairperson, we have scheduled training on Friday, March 22nd, 2024. You should have received an email. If you have not received an email, if you'll leave me your name, I'll make sure that you get one. This has gone out to all planning and zoning commissioners, the zoning board of adjustments, the building standards, the board members, the park board members, the tree and landscape board members, and the City of Rockport City Council and members of the City of Rockport staff. We're requesting that you RSVP no later than noon on March the 22nd. And that way we can have an idea of how to plan for the event. The event is March the 27th, 2024, from 9 to 4. We're going to provide lunch out here, and we're hoping that it's a very good day to train. Some of it's going to be specifically geared towards the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the rest of it will be geared towards other boards and commissions. And I think it'll be good training for everyone. So I hope you can find a way to get here.
I plan to attend.
Yeah, I'll be here. I did not
Me
get
too.
the email invite, so
And I'll check with
I think I got the email, but they get buried
Yeah.
real
Yeah, I
fast.
had responded to her.
Board, but not the second, so.
No, I'm open.
Okay. Well, if we don't have anything else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
To adjourn.
Thank you, Rick.
Second.
Thank you, Kim. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank